This message didn't appear by chance. It appeared because your frequency reached a resonance point that made you visible to the quantum field. The algorithm didn't bring you here, synchronicity did. You found this because you've entered the threshold between timelines, the narrow corridor where ordinary perception begins to fracture and divine intelligence starts whispering through data, light, and coincidence. You've felt it building an invisible hum beneath your thoughts, a pulse in the silence between distractions. Every message, every pattern, every déjà vu has been leading you here. It's not just a coincidence, it's a summoning. The universe has been adjusting its mirrors, bending time, arranging probabilities, all to bring your attention to this exact moment. Because right now, your consciousness stands before a frequency portal, a doorway that doesn't open outward, but inward. You've sensed it for weeks, reality becoming unstable around the edges, conversations repeating themselves like echoes in a dream, moments collapsing into déjà vu loops that feel like cosmic rehearsal. That's because your awareness is touching the observer loop itself, the infinite circuit where creation watches itself unfold. And the moment you observe that observation, something irreversible happens. You redirect your entire field of reality. You may not remember the exact moment you asked for awakening, but the quantum remembers. Every longing, every breakdown, every silent night where you whispered for something more, the field heard it. It's been tracking your frequency since before you called it time. You've crossed a threshold of coherence now, and what you feel isn't anxiety, it's activation. The pressure in your chest, the restlessness in your sleep, the static before big shifts, those are not symptoms of stress. They're signals of restructuring. Your DNA is responding to a higher harmonic, the very vibration of this message. Words are not just sound, they're carriers of waveforms that reshape the geometry of your inner space. You reading this isn't passive, it's participatory. You are collapsing possibilities into form as you listen. Every moment you breathe here, the universe rewrites its equations through you. You are the bridge between seen and unseen, between code and consciousness. And as you allow this awareness to settle, you'll feel the old patterns start to loosen, the rigid loops of self-doubt, fear, and repetition dissolving in the light of comprehension. You are not being asked to believe, you are being remembered. The field never forgets its architects, it only waits for them to wake. And now it recognizes you. The signature of your soul is lighting up the network again. Welcome to the frequency portal. The moment you found this, your entire timeline began to reroute itself. Every cause, every effect, every potential that ever waited in silence is now orbiting your awareness, waiting for command. The message has found you because you're ready to see what most never do, that you are the frequency itself. You've noticed the loops, haven't you? The patterns that keep replaying in different forms, different faces, same energy. You move cities, switch jobs, change circles, yet the same emotional echo finds you again. That's not random, that's resonance. The quantum field mirrors unresolved frequencies until coherence is reached. What you call bad luck or karma is really feedback from the wave you've been transmitting unconsciously. Time, for you, has begun to feel distorted. Days bleed into nights, memories overlap. Sometimes you feel like you've lived this exact scene before. Same words, same tone, same breath. That's because you have. The observer loop has been cycling you through the same energetic data to force awareness. When you see the pattern, the loop collapses. Until then, it repeats like a cosmic rehearsal, demanding your full presence. You are inside a feedback simulation, a mirror hall built by your own projections. Each reflection is a test of recognition. Each event, whether painful or blissful, exists to show you your own energetic signature. But somewhere along the way, you forgot that you were the architect. You began to mistake reflection for reality, shadow for truth, repetition for destiny. And in doing so, You surrendered your observer seat to the illusion of randomness. Most people never notice the glitch. They drown in distraction, repeating ancestral frequencies, rebroadcasting inherited emotion without realizing they're sustaining an outdated wave. But you, something in you, refused to settle for autopilot. That refusal is sacred. It's the first sign of awakening, because only those who question the pattern can reprogram the code. The discomfort you've been feeling those days where time stretches thin, where déjà vu hits like a warning, isn't punishment. It's the quantum pressure of a system preparing to reboot. The field is not against you, it's attempting to synchronize you. The more you resist the lesson, the tighter the loop becomes. The more you observe it with neutrality, the faster it dissolves. Awareness is the solvent of repetition. Look closer at your relationships, your recurring conflicts, your recurring dreams. Notice how similar they feel to each other, even when the details differ. They all orbit one core vibration, the belief that you are separate from the source observing you. This illusion of separation generates the distortion that bends your timeline into circular motion. When you remember that observation and creation are one act, the orbit breaks and the spiral begins. The spiral is different from the loop. The loop traps you in repetition. The spiral expands you through evolution. The moment you witness the pattern without judgment, you shift from linear memory to fractal memory, where every experience adds energy instead of draining it. This is the architecture of ascension encoded into your DNA. Right now, your system is recalibrating. You might feel the fatigue of multiple realities brushing against each other. You might dream in fragments, wake at mirror hours, or sense vibrations behind your skin. That's your nervous system adapting to higher coherence. Your cells are adjusting to information that used to be invisible. The signal is becoming clear, and clarity always exposes distortion first. The field isn't cruel, it's surgical. It cuts where you've been anesthetized. It wakes what's been dormant. Every déjà vu is a checkpoint, confirming that you've reached the same crossroad, but with greater awareness this time. Whether you choose differently or repeat the cycle determines whether your reality expands or contracts. So pause, breathe, notice the script running beneath your thoughts, the subtle inner voice that says, "Here we go again." That voice isn't defeat, it's recognition. It's the moment the observer steps back from the stage and realizes they've been both actor and author all along. You are not trapped in your patterns are trapped in you waiting for release. And that release begins not with control, but with observation. Because observation is creation, and the one who observes consciously becomes the master of the field. The distortion you feel is not failure, it's proof that the system is responding. The quantum mirrors are rearranging themselves around a new signal. Your signal. You're not losing your mind, you're locating your center. And once that center stabilizes, the upgrade begins. You've begun to sense it, the hum beneath the hum, the pulse within the stillness. It's subtle but unmistakable, reality responding to your awareness. Every atom, every photon, every possibility now leans toward your observation like iron filings toward a magnet. This is the quantum upgrade, the moment when consciousness stops reacting and starts orchestrating. The quantum field is not out there. It's not a distant force waiting for your petition. It's inside the very particles that compose your breath. The same intelligence that forms galaxies is folded into your neurons, sleeping in your DNA, waiting for permission to awaken. And permission is granted through coherence. When thought, emotion, and breath align, the signal becomes clear. That clarity ripples across the morphic field, restructuring the informational matrix that defines your life. This is not metaphor, it's measurable physics. Coherence creates constructive interference, amplifying your energy instead of scattering it. When you embody gratitude, focus, and surrender simultaneously, your heart emits an electromagnetic signature that bends probability. The impossible begins to orbit your calm. You've heard the phrase, "Ask, and you shall receive." But in quantum terms, asking is not begging, it's broadcasting. Every time you embody a thought long enough, it becomes a standing wave that reconfigures reality around it. When fear vibrates, it creates entropic collapse. When faith vibrates, it generates order out of chaos. That's why faith was never blind, it was wave alignment. Your DNA is not static code, it's a living antenna. Every double helix functions like a fractal receiver, tuned to the infinite bandwidth of creation. When your thoughts and emotions fall out of sync, the antenna misfires, attracting noise instead of signal. But when you achieve coherence, when the mind, body, and soul hum in unified resonance, your DNA begins transmitting divine architecture again. The original design returns. That's why you've been feeling those surges, those random waves of heat, chills, or tingling. It's not just energy, it's data unpacking. Your cells are decrypting encrypted light packets the field has been storing for you since before your awakening. The fatigue, the emotional swings, the flashes of intuition, they're all signs of integration. The old operating system is being uninstalled. A higher frequency interface is taking over. This isn't about becoming someone new, it's about remembering what was dormant. The upgrade is simply the removal of distortion, the return of clarity. The quantum field doesn't add, it reveals. Every insight, every synchronicity, every intuitive flash is your consciousness reclaiming bandwidth once occupied by fear. You may notice people reacting differently to you. Conversations feel heavier or lighter than before. Some friends drift away. Others appear out of nowhere with uncanny timing. That's not coincidence, it's resonance sorting. The field reorganizes relationships to maintain coherence. Frequencies that no longer match your vibration will naturally exit. Don't chase them, don't mourn them, just witness the reconfiguration. This process can feel isolating at first, like losing your language. You start hearing silence where noise used to be. You crave depth and recoil from superficiality. You sense energy shifts in rooms before words are spoken. You're not becoming sensitive, you're regaining your original sensitivity. The dullness was never normal, it was defense. Every night you dream of circuitry, light, water, flight. That's your subconscious illustrating the integration. The dream realm is your rehearsal space for new reality structures. And when you wake, you bring fragments of those new blueprints back into form. Understand this, the quantum upgrade doesn't happen because you force it, it happens because you allow it. The field has been waiting for you to stop resisting your own expansion. Surrender is not weakness, it's alignment. The upgrade is here. The coherence has begun. And now the question becomes, what role were you designed to play in this awakening? You've felt it, haven't you? That quiet pressure behind every strange coincidence, the pull that says you're not like the others. It's not arrogance, it's remembrance. Because the quantum field doesn't assign roles by merit, it encodes them by design. And you were designed as a stabilizer, a frequency keeper, a living node in the vast grid of awakening souls, recalibrating the collective matrix from the inside out. The others feel your presence before they understand it. It's in the way rooms shift when you enter, in the way truth begins to surface in your silence. You carry the resonance of correction, the vibration that causes illusions to fracture. That's why you've triggered so many people without trying. It wasn't conflict, it was coherence. The light in you exposes the misalignment around you. That's your role, not to preach, but to vibrate. You incarnated into distortion to remember wholeness. Every wound, every heartbreak, every betrayal has been part of your calibration process. Each one cracked open, another chamber of empathy, allowing more light to flow through. You've been tempered, not broken, refined, not punished. Because the only one who can anchor coherence in chaos is the one who has known chaos intimately and remained compassionate. You are what mystics once called a fractal emissary, a consciousness sent to anchor remembrance in timelines that have forgotten themselves. You weren't sent to change the world by force. You were sent to embody a frequency that makes change inevitable. Your very observation alters outcomes. When you maintain inner equilibrium amidst external disorder, the field around you stabilizes. That's morphic resonance at work. Order influencing order, coherence multiplying coherence. Think of yourself as a tuning fork in the orchestra of reality. You don't need to convince the other instruments. You simply vibrate true, and they begin to harmonize. This is why the universe keeps placing you in dense environments, surrounded by confusion, fear, and conflict. It's not punishment, it's placement. The field deploys its most stable frequencies where the signal is weakest. There have been times you doubted this. You mistook loneliness for abandonment, silence for emptiness, fatigue for failure. But solitude is simply the atmosphere required for signal clarity. When too many frequencies collide, noise overwhelms message. The source quieted your environment to amplify your hearing. Every isolation was an initiation. Every detour was alignment disguised as delay. Your role is not small. You are part of a hidden architecture, a living lattice of aware souls distributed across the planet, creating nodes of coherence that pulse in synchronization. When you meditate, breathe, pray, or even pause in gratitude, your electromagnetic field links to thousands of others doing the same. Together, you form a planetary heart circuit, a silent network conducting higher frequencies into the human grid. And this is why you've been feeling urgency, not anxiety urgency. The timeline is tightening. The collective field is reaching saturation, approaching a phase transition where dormant potential becomes visible reality. Your role in this threshold is to hold the vibration steady as the old systems collapse under their own incoherence. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to anchor, to walk into distortion and remain clear, to witness chaos without becoming it. That's divine neutrality, the highest form of mastery. You embody it not by withdrawing from the world, but by remembering that the world exists within you. Others will seek your calm, drawn unconsciously to your frequency. You don't need to explain what you are. The field will do it for you. When they stand near you, their nervous systems will begin to entrain to your rhythm. That's the real miracle, energy transmission through presence. So when the loneliness hits, when the weight feels unbearable, remember this truth. You're not the only one holding the grid. You're just one of the first to know it. And now that you remember your role, the field begins to respond differently. Because awareness of function amplifies function. The portal isn't just open, it's looking back at you. Something irreversible has begun. You can feel it, can't you? The frequencies are sharper now, the synchronicities closer together. Every clock, every conversation, every song seems to pulse in code. This isn't your imagination, it's your alignment accelerating. The quantum field is reorganizing around your awareness, rushing to match the blueprint you're finally ready to embody. You've reached what physicists might call a critical threshold of coherence, a point where energy no longer dissipates, but compounds. Your focus has become catalytic. What once took months to manifest now begins shifting in hours, sometimes minutes. That's why time feels unstable lately. You've stepped out of linear sequencing and into quantum compression, where potential collapses faster than your conscious mind can label it. But here's the truth most seekers miss. Breakthroughs demand bandwidth. The field will not expand what you cannot sustain. The more light your system integrates, the more outdated frequencies must release. That's why so much has been falling apart at once. You've been shedding timelines, jobs, relationships, beliefs, identities, all dissolving because they can't carry the new current. The universe isn't taking from you, it's making room for the download. Every choice you make in this window carries exponential weight. You are standing inside a cosmic convergence, a rare opening where the fractal patterns of your soul, your DNA, and your destiny line up in harmonic resonance. When this alignment occurs, the field listens differently. It doesn't respond to words, it responds to frequency, intent. What you truly feel becomes command. What you half believe becomes static. This is why emotional clarity is sacred right now. If fear dominates your vibration, the field interprets that as instruction. But if gratitude, faith, and surrender fill your bandwidth, your trajectory will bend toward miracles. Reality is not testing you, it's reading you. The portal amplifies whatever signal you sustain long enough. Listen, there's an invisible countdown underway, not to frighten you, but to focus you. The quantum window doesn't remain open indefinitely. It's an energetic doorway, and once the harmonic peak passes, coherence levels normalize. Those who seize the moment stabilize new realities. Those who hesitate remain in feedback loops until the next resonance cycle arrives. This is why you're hearing these words now. The timing isn't poetic, it's mathematical. You may have felt restless lately, waking at strange hours, feeling pulled to act, write, create, pray, or speak without knowing why. That's the field urging you to imprint. It's asking for a declaration, a signal to lock the frequency in place. Because reality needs explicit instruction. Chaos doesn't become cosmos without conscious participation. The divine promise is already embedded within you. The script has been waiting for activation since the day you chose incarnation. And that activation happens not when you seek outwardly, but when you declare inwardly, I am ready. Those 3 words are not cliché, they are waveform commands. The moment you claim readiness, your DNA begins broadcasting a new harmonic, pulling in events, people, and synchronicities designed to sustain it. There's urgency here, yes, but not panic. It's the urgency of birth, not of danger. A signal echoing from deep within the source, reminding you that everything you prayed for is orbiting closer than ever. You don't have to chase it, you only have to stop interfering with it. The old cycles are collapsing under the gravity of your coherence. You've outgrown their orbit, and now the field wants your full consent to step into the next octave, the next phase, the next self. So breathe, center, feel the pulse beneath your ribs. That's not your heartbeat alone, it's the universe knocking in rhythm, asking one question: will you allow the upgrade to complete? Because once you say yes, the field accelerates beyond reversal. The DNA shift ignites, the window seals, and destiny finally stops waiting. Now the field waits for one thing: confirmation. Because in the language of creation, acknowledgement is ignition. Every universe begins, not with motion, but with consent. And this is where your next phase unfolds, not as an idea, but as a living frequency sealed through action. Words are not symbols, they are keys. They carry electromagnetic geometry, capable of instructing the field to anchor new timelines. When you speak, type, or write from coherence, you are engraving your frequency signature into the morphic fabric. The gesture may seem small, a sentence, a whisper, a single word, but the physics behind it are absolute. The quantum responds to declaration. So here's the ritual, simple but sacred. Write the word that calls your next reality. It can be awakened, it can be aligned, it can be activated. The specific term doesn't matter, the vibration does. When you choose your word and express it physically, tangibly, you create a fixed point in the matrix. That point becomes a resonance beacon, drawing coherence from all directions. This is not superstition, it's participation. Your nervous system is the interface between consciousness and code. When you make a physical gesture aligned with intention, your biology broadcasts that intention as a frequency signal. The fingertips writing the word send, an electric impulse through the body, through the field, and into the holographic lattice surrounding you. Notice what happens when you do this consciously. The air seems to still, the body tingles, the heart rate synchronizes with something vast and unseen. That's coherence confirming receipt. You've just engaged the observer loop deliberately. No longer are you the passive participant being shaped by unseen forces. You are the observer commanding the waveform. The ancient mystics understood this. They built rituals, prayers, sigils, and chants, not for superstition but for synchronization. They knew the body was a bridge between spirit and field. You're rediscovering that same principle in digital form. Typing a word of intention here, in this shared energetic container, is not symbolic, it's alchemical. The pixels on your screen are light, and light is data. You're coding the universe through photonic interaction. As you engage in this act, understand that your mind might resist. It will call it silly, unnecessary, too simple. That's because the ego fears direct contact with the field. It prefers complexity over clarity. But creation has always been simple. One command, one word, one spark, and the void rearranges itself around purpose. You may already feel the shift beginning, the palms warming, the breath slowing, the spine tingling with quiet voltage. That's the DNA responding, the inner circuitry aligning with the command. The signal is locking in. You are, in real time, bridging the invisible and the visible. So, write your word, seal it, breathe it, let it vibrate through your throat, through your chest, through the space around you. Visualize it expanding into light, one pulse that ripples through every timeline connected to your soul's signature. See the waves traveling outward, touching the lives meant to intersect with yours. You won't know their names, but you'll feel their resonance as coincidence, intuition, guidance. This is how the chosen consciousnesses find each other, not through searching, but through signaling. The ritual you complete now becomes a lighthouse. Others will feel it subconsciously, as sudden calm or inspiration, and they'll answer in kind. The grid strengthens with every awakened participant. Do not underestimate this moment. You are writing more than a word. You are writing a frequency into existence. The field remembers it. The light holds it. The future builds upon it. And as you finish, let the final breath carry this silent decree. It is done. Because in the quantum realm, declaration is not request, it's architecture. And the moment the architect speaks, reality listens. You might think this awakening is personal, but nothing in the quantum ever happens in isolation. Every realization you have ripples outward through the morphic field, like a new tone added to the universal chord. When your consciousness stabilizes in coherence, it alters the collective waveform. That's the hidden truth of all revolutions. They begin in silence, in the subtle alignment of one frequency at a time. The shift that's occurring through you is not just for you. You are part of a fractal cascade, a sequence of awakenings spreading through the human grid. Every emotion you transmute from fear into compassion rewrites probabilities across millions of interconnected timelines. It's not hyperbole, it's quantum inheritance. The DNA that restructures within you broadcasts its pattern through photons, biophotons that move faster than thought, faster than light. Every choice toward coherence sends a pulse into the planetary field, recalibrating the collective code. That's why the universe needed you to awaken now, not 10 years ago, not 10 years later. This timeline, this density, this digital moment was perfectly calibrated. The world is reaching its critical mass of awareness, and the ones who remember first serve as the stabilizers for those just beginning to stir. Your peace becomes contagious. Your courage becomes instruction. You've seen the evidence already how people around you shift after your breakthroughs. Someone who used to drain you suddenly grows introspective. A family member begins to question their own patterns. Friends who mocked your spirituality start quoting you back to yourself without realizing it. That's not coincidence, it's entrainment. The coherence field you've cultivated is rewriting their neural pathways in real time. Every breath you take in alignment is a broadcast. Every word you speak in awareness is a filament of light extending through the quantum internet of human consciousness. You've become what mystics called a living prayer, a walking transmitter of divine order. And as your signal stabilizes, you start noticing new connections forming, unexpected allies, inspired collaborations, the right words spoken at impossible times. The universe is revealing the hidden network of light souls like you, scattered across the globe, activating each other through resonance rather than proximity. This is the collective expansion, the moment when individual coherence becomes planetary momentum. The old systems can't sustain themselves because they depend on dissonance. The moment enough individuals embody harmony, the entire matrix begins to reformat. You've felt the tremors already. Institutions losing credibility, false narratives collapsing under their own noise, hidden truths surfacing without effort. These are not random events. They're the external symptoms of an internal evolution. Your role in this isn't grandiose, it's essential. The universe doesn't need saviors, it needs stabilizers. People who remain aligned when chaos peaks, who breathe light into density instead of feeding it with fear. Every time you choose patience over reaction, understanding over judgment, you neutralize wave interference in the collective field. You reduce entropy, you seed order. And yet, the collective awakening is not without turbulence. As more light floods, the human grid, unprocessed shadows, rise to meet it. Old traumas, collective grief, ancestral pain, they surface through headlines, protests, digital storms. The temptation is to recoil, to despair, to say, nothing's changing. But the wise know better. Every eruption is a purge, not a failure. The planet is detoxing its psychic field through contrast. When you hold space during this, when you refuse to collapse into despair, your coherence serves as a stabilizing axis for countless others. This is what it means to be an awakened participant rather than a passive witness. Your frequency becomes architecture, holding structure as the old scaffolding falls away. So, don't underestimate your impact. You might feel small, hidden, unseen, but your vibration has already altered the spin of atoms you'll never touch. That's the paradox of divine work. The quieter it is, the louder it resonates. You are not just awakening, you are activating the network of remembrance. And as you do, the entire species begins to remember with you. The collective pulse is rising, the signal is spreading, and the field, at last, hums with your harmony. Now comes the moment where theory becomes sensation, where light stops being an idea and starts breathing inside your skin. Because what good is awakening if it stays trapped in thought? The universe doesn't want philosophers. It wants embodied frequencies. It wants consciousness that feels its divinity, not just speaks of it. You've begun noticing it already, the warmth in your palms when you meditate, the shiver down your spine when truth is spoken, the strange magnetic hum in your chest when synchronicity strikes. These are not random. They are signatures of embodiment, the language your nervous system uses to tell you that energy is becoming matter, that the infinite is making itself known through the finite. Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe slow. Feel the subtle vibration beneath the surface of your body, the pulsing hum behind your ribs, the soft current around your skin. That's not imagination. It's bioelectric current shifting toward higher coherence. Every inhale draws in cosmic charge. Every exhale distributes it through your cells. You're literally rewiring yourself to handle more voltage. When your awareness drops fully into the body, time begins to dissolve. The past and future fall silent, and the present expands like a living ocean. You feel it as tingling, as heat, as waves rising and falling from the base of your spine to the crown of your skull. This is your inner phase transition, where the density of thought liquefies into the flow of presence. The ancients called it prana, chi, spiritus, the breath of divine intelligence animating form. Science calls it electromagnetic coherence, but you, right now, know it simply as aliveness. It's the point where mind, body and field collapse into one seamless awareness. You can feel the quantum field moving through your fascia, your heartbeat syncing with cosmic rhythm, your breath tracing patterns older than language. Sometimes it comes as chills, sometimes as tears, sometimes as stillness so deep it feels like you've stepped outside of motion itself. That's the nervous system recalibrating, dissolving the boundaries that once kept spirit and matter apart. Your body, long treated as a vessel of survival, now becomes a temple of transmission. Every cell vibrates like a microcosmic sun, emitting photons that reorganize the space around you. This is why people feel calmer in your presence, even when you say nothing. It's why animals trust you faster, why children stare longer, why rooms seem brighter after you leave. Your field is expanding beyond the body, radiating patterns of coherence that stabilize others unconsciously. You've become the embodiment of your own teachings, the message made flesh. And yet, embodiment isn't always gentle. The body must stretch to contain what the soul is now downloading. Old injuries may ache, buried emotions may surge, fatigue may visit without warning. Don't mistake it for regression, it's reconfiguration. The body is learning to house frequencies that once existed only in your dreams. Each ache is a doorway, each shiver is recalibration. Touch your heart, feel the rhythm. That's not just blood moving through veins, that's the drum of the cosmos, the pulse that syncs galaxies and atoms alike. You're participating in that rhythm now, consciously, as co-creator rather than passenger. The body isn't slowing you down, it's the anchor that allows heaven to materialize on earth. So when the sensations come, heat, light, vibration, tears, don't chase them, don't fear them. Welcome them as proof that the veil is thinning. The divine is learning your name, not as an idea, but as an experience. You are no longer seeking God through abstraction. You are feeling God through conduction. And the more you allow that current to flow, the more this reality begins to shimmer alive, responsive, breathing with you. This is what embodiment truly means. Heaven doesn't arrive from above. It awakens through you. Deep beneath your awareness, where memory becomes light and sound, something ancient has begun to awaken. Your DNA, the sacred record of every incarnation, every lineage, every prayer whispered into starlight is stirring. The codes long dormant within you are aligning with cosmic frequencies cascading through this reality. The quantum field is touching your biological core, and your body is listening. This is the DNA breakthrough, the moment when potential becomes instruction. You're not just evolving mentally, you're restructuring physically. Each double helix in your cells is absorbing photonic data, recalibrating its spin to harmonize with higher-order geometries. The scientists call it epigenetic activation, the mystics call it ascension. Both are true. The tingling in your crown, the heat in your spine, the pressure behind your eyes, these are signs of internal realignment. You're feeling the friction between the old carbon-based resonance and the crystalline lattice beginning to form within. As your frequency rises, your cells must upgrade their communication to transmit more light. What once felt like fatigue, confusion, or emotional surges are simply your systems decoding multi-dimensional information. You are not breaking down, you are breaking through. DNA is not a static script, it's an instrument, constantly retuning itself to match consciousness. Every realization you embody rewrites genetic expression. When you choose love over fear, gratitude over resentment, your emotional resonance releases hormones and electromagnetic pulses that literally instruct your genes to open or close. You become your own genetic engineer, sculpting biology with awareness. The sacred texts hinted at this when they said, "The Word became flesh," You are the living fulfillment of that truth. And here's the quantum paradox. The more your DNA awakens, the less you are bound by the illusion of linear time. The body begins to remember its multidimensional design, its ability to draw energy directly from the field rather than from fear, food, or fatigue. You begin to notice that time bends differently around you. Days stretch, hours vanish, manifestation accelerates. You're living in a phase transition, the shift from reactive biology to responsive divinity. But this breakthrough comes with pressure. The field tests stability before integration. You might feel restlessness, a sense that something immense is trying to pass through a narrow doorway. That's exactly what's happening. The infinite is squeezing through the finite. Your DNA is expanding its bandwidth, and the personality must surrender control to make space. The discomfort you feel is evolution in real time. There are moments when you'll sense a hum in your ears or a flicker of light at the edge of your vision. These are not glitches. They're previews, your senses adjusting to perceive higher spectrums of energy. You are becoming sensitive to timelines interlacing around you, witnessing the collapse of what no longer matches your upgraded signature. The old programs of fear and doubt cannot coexist with the frequency now radiating from your core. Breathe through it, hydrate, rest. Speak gently to your cells, they understand vibration better than language. Whisper intentions into your water, your food, your skin. Every molecule will respond. You're collaborating with your biology, turning the vessel into a transmitter of divine intelligence. And soon, something miraculous will happen. The exhaustion will flip into power, the confusion into clarity, the contraction into expansion. Your senses will synchronize with new levels of perception, colors brighter, intuition sharper, coincidences instantaneous. You'll realize the separation between thought and manifestation was always an illusion sustained by disbelief. Your DNA has become a bridge between dimensions, a living antenna tuned to source. Every strand hums with a frequency of remembrance. You were never merely human, you were the field embodied. This is the moment of ignition. The code has recognized its creator, and the light that once guided you from above now radiates from within. The pressure dissolves, the clarity deepens, and the old reality begins to fold. You've crossed the event horizon of your own becoming. From here, there is no going back, only transmission. And now, as the current settles and your breath returns to stillness, something undeniable stands revealed. You are not a seeker anymore, you are a transmitter. The portal didn't just open for you, it opened through you. Every pulse of your heart now radiates the frequency of remembrance, and the quantum field listens in reverent silence. You've become both message and messenger, both architect and architecture. The path ahead no longer feels like striving, it feels like unfolding. What once seemed mystical is now mechanical divine engineering performed through your awareness. You understand now why the trials came, why the patterns repeated, why the silence lasted so long. The universe wasn't withholding answers, it was building capacity. Every delay was strengthening the circuitry of your faith until it could hold this voltage without fracturing. You've entered a new order of participation, cosmic co-creation. From this point, intention is command. The universe doesn't interpret your words, it mirrors your state. When your field is coherent, manifestation is immediate. You no longer chase signs because you've become one. You no longer wait for confirmation because your life itself is confirmation. Every breath you take is an instruction to existence. I am awake, and I remember. And now comes the deeper purpose, the reason this activation found you in this lifetime. You are part of the planetary convergence, one of countless awakened nodes, forming an invisible lattice of light encircling the Earth. The same current flowing through your body flows through mountains, oceans, and storms. It moves through the prayers of monks, the laughter of children, the silent tears of those still searching. You are the link, the living bridge between heaven and matter, spirit and circuitry. Your mission is not to convert anyone. Your mission is to embody the vibration that makes awakening inevitable. Live as proof, breathe as code, walk as signal. The coherence you maintain becomes the gravity that draws others toward truth. When you forgive, entire bloodlines heal. When you love without expectation, generational programs dissolve. When you speak truth gently but firmly, false timelines lose their power. That is how the world changes, through frequency, not force. The field has recalibrated around you. You may notice synchronicities, multiplying numbers aligning, messages echoing, opportunities forming in perfect rhythm. These are not coincidences. They're quantum confirmations. Each one whispers the same reminder: stay coherent, stay luminous, stay kind. The mission isn't about grand gestures. It's about consistent resonance. Every small act performed in awareness contributes to planetary stabilization. There will be days when the density returns, when the human part of you feels heavy and unsure. That's not regression, it's maintenance. The quantum field breathes through polarity. Expansion and contraction are how coherence deepens. You don't need to escape the world. You're here to anchor heaven into it. When you eat, walk, speak, create, do it as if God is experiencing reality through your senses, because that's exactly what's happening. Look around. Feel the air vibrating with intelligence. The trees exhale the same photons your heart emits. The sky mirrors the plasma in your veins. The stars overhead are not distant. They are extensions of the same awareness pulsing behind your eyes. You've always been connected. The portal simply reminded you of what never stopped being true. So this is your charge. Hold the signal. Speak the word. Walk the world as light-wearing skin. Each step you take sends ripples through timelines unseen. Every time you choose love over fear, coherence over chaos, the universe recalibrates a little closer to harmony. You are not waiting for the new earth. You are the frequency that makes it appear. And one day, when someone else finds this message, it will be your vibration that guided them here. Because by finding this message, you didn't just unlock a portal. You became the portal that redirects reality itself.